What's up, everybody? Justin here to report some sad news. And I'll be starting my tribute in a minute to WWE legend, Hall of Famer Nikolai Volkoff has passed away sadly. Also, Brick House Brown has passed away. I didn't really know much about Brick House Brown at all. I guess he's a big star in mid-Atlantic area, but again, I never really saw him on TV much at all. Brickhouse Brown in 1995 was came to WWF, I believe, and jobbed at Triple H. I don't know where, on an episode of Superstars or Raw. I don't know, but I just want to say rest in peace, Brickhouse Brown. Again, I didn't know much about the guy. I barely saw him wrestle on TV. I did not see him enough. So I don't know how good he was, really. But rest in peace, Brickhouse Brown. Also, Jerry Lawler's son, Brian Christopher. The guy was a pretty damn big star in the year 2000, just 18 years ago. Brian Christopher is also passed away. I forget how old he was, but it might have been late 40s or something like that. But again, no disrespect to Brian Christopher. The guy was super over and had the best run of his career during the Attitude Era. In the year 2000, he was the most over as part of Too Cool. Also, he's a former tag team champion with Scotty 2 Hotty, part of Too Cool. What I remember about Too Cool, they were super over. And they were a really fun tag team to watch. They had great theme music. So, I feel bad for his father, Jerry Lawler, and his mother, and Brian Christopher's family. I feel bad for them because after he's arrested, it's been reported, I don't know if it's a rumor or what, but it's been reported Brian Christopher, after he was arrested, committed suicide in jail, that he hung himself. So very sad if that's true. Nobody, even if you're feeling really, really, really down, like things aren't going to get better, nobody should ever commit suicide. That's not the thing to do. Do not do that. Do not do that to your family and friends. So rest in peace, Brian Christopher. You were pretty damn entertaining when you were in Too Cool. I don't know if Brian Christopher felt ashamed of all his problems, getting arrested all the time, drug abuse. He was involved with drugs a lot, probably alcohol, like he couldn't get clean. He felt like he couldn't get clean. I don't know. Why didn't he go to WWE's rehab? They would offer to pay for it, but maybe he didn't want to go. Maybe he didn't want to be clean. I don't know, but one thing, Brian Christopher probably felt like he could not live up to his father's name in wrestling and couldn't be as good as his father. That probably caused a lot of his depression. And probably a lot of his problems was that he was Jerry Lawler's son. Not blaming Jerry Lawler, but Jerry Lawler's a weird guy. He's a really weird guy. He's known to he's known as to dating women like 20, 35 years younger than him. He's known for dating high school students when the guy was like 50s or 40s. So, anyways, rest in peace, Brian Christopher. And I'll be back in a minute. What's up, everybody? I'm back with my Nikolai Volkoff tribute. Sadly passed away today. Today's Sunday. He's passed away on July 29th, 2018. Nikolai Volkoff was 70 years old. I thought he was a little bit older, but he was 70 years old. So here's the start of my tribute to Nikolai Volkoff.
In the ring at this time, the challengers. To my left, from the Soviet Union, weighing 313 pounds, Nikolai Volkoff. To my right, his partner, from Tehran, Iran, weighing 258 pounds, the Iron Sheik. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Volkoff requests that you all rise and respect his singing of the Soviet national anthem. Can you give us? Russia, number one, Iran, number one, USA,
That was great to watch. Anyways, that brought back a lot of good childhood memories. The singing, Nikolai Volkov doing the singing of the Russian national anthem, as the guy always did, especially in the 80s and late 80s. And just legendary. And at the end, Iron Sheik saying, Iran number one, Russia number one, USA. Tuh. That's great old school wrestling heel stuff. And they had major heat. And I was listening to that. Maybe you could hear it also. The fans were booing them like crazy. They were a great tag team. They were also great friends. Nikolai Volkoff made his debut in wrestling in 1967. Made his debut. Again, he started in Calgary, Alberta, Canada as a wrestler in 1967, where he wrestled for Stu Hart's Stampede Wrestling. He wrestled there for a while, a couple years. Then he went to the NWA, wrestled for various territories. Wrestled for NWA Detroit, International Wrestling Association, and the NWF, National Wrestling Federation, where he won Tag Team Championship Gold. So then Nikolai Volkoff made a name for himself in the United States when he got to come to New York City and work for the WWF. He worked there from 1968 to 1971. As he worked for Vince McMahon Sr. And he was managed at one point by Captain Lou Albano. He captured the WWF International Tag Team titles. And he also wrestled Bruno Sammartino. In 1974, Nikolai Volkoff returned to Madison Square Garden, where he had a really famous match with the champion Bruno Sammartino. They wrestled about an hour, I think, or close to an hour time limit. It might even been a time limit draw. I don't know. I've never seen the entire match. So after that, Nikolai Volkoff then, from 74 into the 1980s, worked for the AWA and Mid-South Wrestling. And then he went back to the WWF in 1984 and stayed there from about 84 until 93, 92. And then he actually came back in 94, 95. And he had a run with $1 Million Man's $1 Million Corporation. So Nikolai Volkoff, the most famous thing, the best run of his career, in my opinion, was with the Iron Sheik. They became tag team champions at the first ever WrestleMania. They defeated Mike Rotundo and Barry Windham, which, if you didn't know, Mike Rotundo, Barry Windham are actually real brothers. So Nikolai and Iron Sheik win the tag titles. Their manager was classy Freddie Blassie. He had major heat, and he was a pretty damn good talker and a good heel manager. Nikolai Volkoff then, in the early 80s, around 85, 86, had a feud with Corporal Kirshner. Also, I believe, on one of the early Saturday night's main events, Nikolai Volkoff had a flag match with Hulk Hogan. I believe, if I can find it here, he wrestled Hulk Hogan for the WWF Championship several times in 85 and 86, and had a flag match with him on the second episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, where, of course, he did not defeat Hulk Hogan. Again, Nikolai Volkoff, underrated heel, underrated worker. The guy could go, especially in the 70s, even in the early 80s, even in 84, 85, 86. The guy could go with anybody. You cannot blow him up. You cannot get him tired. You cannot kick his ass. Nikolai Volkoff, to me, the guy looked really tough. Like he could really kick your ass or take liberties with you in the ring if he wanted to. I don't think he ever did, but he looked really tough. Especially in the 70s when he wrestled Bruno Sammartino, I think it was late 70s. 78 maybe, I think. Anyways, 1976 is when he wrestled Bruno Sammartino. Nikolai Volkoff, the guy was jacked. The guy looked like a brick house. The guy looked just ripped. Just natural. He looked ripped and built naturally. Like country strong. The guy, I doubt, did steroids. He didn't need to. The guy just looked built like an athlete. Or like a football player. Nikolai Volkoff. The guy was big dude. Scary looking dude. But out of his character. When he wasn't his character, especially in the 90s and when he turned babyface in the 2000s, and if anybody ever met him, fans and wrestlers always say Nikolai Volkoff, when he wasn't his heel character, that the guy was super nice guy, super down to earth. So after his feud with Corporal Kirshner, he joined a tag team, the Bolsheviks, with Boris Zukov. Boris Zukov, I believe, was a part of the AWA before. So the Bolsheviks had a match on the first SummerSlam against the Powers of Pain, where they were pretty much destroyed, basically, and it was a pretty short match. And sadly, the Bolsheviks, they would go on to feud and just... Eventually, they had a manager, and their manager was Slick, because I believe Classy Freddie Blassie retired from wanting to travel. So he wasn't the Bolsheviks manager, it was Slick. The Doctor of Style Slick. So they had matches with the Bushwhackers, which were just basically comedy relief matches. And just pretty sad, the Bolsheviks never got a tag team title run. They were defeated in 19 seconds. 19 seconds at WrestleMania 6 by the Hart Foundation. That's what the company thought of the Bolsheviks. Or they didn't have enough time on the show and they wanted to get everybody on the show. I don't know. So then, again, he turned a babyface in 1990 as he started teaming with Sergeant Slaughter and Hacksaw Jim Duggan in 1990. And Nikolai Volkoff was part of Sergeant Slaughter's team in 1990, I guess. Sergeant Slaughter might still been a heel, I don't remember. If he was a heel at SummerSlam 90. Anyways, then he joined, and they didn't do much with Nikolai after 1991. The guy wasn't on no WrestleManias or SummerSlams or Survivor Series. He might have been a part of the Royal Rumble match. I believe Nikolai Volkoff was in the 92 Rumble. I believe he was. I remember him being in there. Returned to the WWF in 1994-95 and was part of the $1 Million Corporation. Nikolai was still in shape, but that wasn't a very good run. Then he retired, but he had many cameos on WWE TV. He made a cameo Shotgun Saturday Night. And this sounds really stupid. It says on an episode of Shotgun Saturday Night, Todd Pettengill discovered Nikolai was homeless, sleeping in a box on the streets of New York City. That sounds so stupid. Pretty damn disrespectful, too, to Nikolai. Let me guess. Vince Russo came up with that. Probably did. So, on February 3rd, 2005, Nikolai Volkoff was announced as one of the WWE Hall of Fame inductees for the class of 2005, by the way. 2005 class was a great class. He was inducted by Jim Ross. Kind of odd to have Jim Ross induct him. It should have been Iron Sheik. Couldn't have been Freddie Blassie, because I believe Freddie Blassie's passed away by 2005 already. So Nikolai Volkoff actually wrestled in 2006 on a World Wrestling Legends pay-per-view, where he was managed by the Iron Sheik, and he wrestled a match against Hacksaw Jim Duggan. I might have 2006, I actually remember ordering a Legends pay-per-view. I might actually have that match somewhere on video or somewhere in my room. So anyways, Nikolai Volkoff again made appearances and cameos on Monday Night Raw in 2007. Made an appearance in 2008 Raw in March 10th. Also made an appearance November 15th, 2010 Raw. It was the old school Raw. He made an appearance there where he sang the Soviet national anthem, and he's interrupted by Santino and Vladimir Kozlov. So after his cameos, Nikolai Volkoff, I apologize for the jackasses revving their car engine all the time going past my house. They're idiots. I don't get people that do that, but whatever. So after he made his cameos, he still wrestled on the independents a lot. His last match and his last appearance, his last match was either 2015 or 2016. Or he teamed up in 2015. He teamed up with a younger wrestler on the indies to take on somebody, I don't know who. March 5th, 2016, he appeared at Night of the Legends, where he teamed with somebody against Coco Beware and Jim Neidhart. So anyways, again, sadly, Nikolai Volkoff has passed away at age 70. Passed away July 29th, 2018 at the age of 70 after he was just released. He was just released from the hospital, as he was in there for a lot of issues. The guy held so many titles. NWA tag titles, NWA Georgia heavyweight champion, NWA Florida tag team champions, Mid-Atlantic tag team champions, Mid-South North American champion. The guy was ranked, PWI ranked him number 96 of the 100 best tag teams with the Iron Sheik. He was just Nikolai Volkoff, former WWF champion, WWE Hall of Famer. The guy was a great heel. And outside the ring, the guy was super nice. Really super nice guy. I never got to meet him, sadly, but I heard he was a super nice guy. The fans always sign autographs, would take pictures, would take selfies. So rest in peace, Nikolai Volkoff. You will be missed by my era of fans that grew up in the 80s. Watching you. I grew up watching Nikolai Volkoff. I didn't appreciate him at the time because I was a kid and I didn't like heels. I booed him like crazy, but still, looking back on it, I was a mark as a kid. I appreciate Nikolai Volkoff now for what he did for wrestling and what he did in his career. He accomplished a lot. He was a part of the first WrestleMania. Was a part of the only title change at the first ever WrestleMania. He became tag team champion also. He's a WWE Hall of Famer also. He's held so many titles outside of WWF. Rest in peace, Nikolai Volkoff. Hopefully you're up there. You were a good man. You were a great wrestler. Very good heel. Rest in peace, Nikolai Volkoff. Bye for now, everybody.